This video is for new art teachers who would like to know what to purchase for their classroom and that you are unsure of what to buy. I was the same way when I started and want to help you if you are new and not sure how to spend your budget, because it can be really overwhelming how to use $1,000 budget or whatever your budget might be. So what I did was create an account with School Specialty. I called and set this up, and I don't actually purchase anything from here, but it populates a nice downloadable document that you can send to whoever does do your purchasing, and it allows for me to see the discount up front and actually know that I can spend my budget down to the last penny. If you're sending the catalog prices like the $85.99 instead of the $55.89, you could be leaving money on the table every single year and not spending your budget completely and fully, and that is a waste. You want to show your district that you use the entire budget. If you spend less over time, they might decide that you just need less and then assign you actually less. So if you're sending over $1,000 budget order from the catalog and then they apply the discount, let's say it takes off $200, they think you only need $800. Then the next year you can be assigned $800. So whatever your budget is, you want to spend it fully and completely. I shop for 2 different buildings. I have been an art teacher since 2011, and for the past 9 years, I've had 2 schools and 2 budgets. So one of my buildings is traditional, pre-K to grade 5, 300 kids with a $1,000 budget. And then my other building is pre-K, K, and 1 and 300 kids, and a very similar budget. Okay, so I'm going to go through things that you don't necessarily need. So like the best case scenario, and then if you need to delete things, you can to get down to like the most like essential. So I just added the paper, so it went to the bottom of the list. So I'm going to go down to the bottom just to start with paper, because that is the most essential thing that you need, and you can get away with not having a lot of other things if you just have paper. So buying a box of paper, it does come in a box. It's 500 sheets. It's a ream of 500 pieces of paper. It's the Saks. It's a School Specialty line of sulfite white drawing paper. And I get the largest size, like 18 by 24 is a great size. And then you can cut it down to 12 by 18 and then 9 by 12 and even smaller if you want. There's nothing wrong if you have a small budget with doing small artwork and doing more projects on smaller pieces of paper. If you have a large number of students and you only have this box of paper, there's no reason that you have to do every project on 12 by 18 paper. So there is a lot of benefit from doing micro mini art projects. The pounds of the paper does super matter. So 90 pounds is like one of the highest, and let's say 50 is the lowest. So whatever your budget will allow for, the price will change based on the pounds of the paper and the paper size. So I order 80 or 90 pound paper, and again, you can change the pounds. 70 is good. 60, 50, the paper gets thin, it buckles, ripples, it rips when erased on. And I use this paper for everything. It is the paper we paint on, it is the paper we draw on, it is the paper we make paper sculptures from. I use this paper for everything. And you can see that the list price is $89.29, and it's with my school's discount applied because my account is associated with my school district. You can see the actual price that I get is a 35% discount. So I use this for everything. There is a size larger than this, but just know that when you're buying one box of paper that you will be the one cutting it down to smaller sizes, or get yourself a volunteer to help you cut it down. That is the only bad thing about buying a box of 500 pieces of paper, is that I spend a lot of time at the paper cutter, but that is something I'm willing to do to stretch the budget further because we pay for convenience. So if you could only buy one thing, I would do paper and then fundraise or get donations for everything else from your local Buy Nothing Facebook group, recycle group, post to the community, for example. Okay, so on a budget that is smaller, you want to try these Jack Reason, I might be saying the name wrong, powder paint that you add to water and mix to consistency. You want a thick plastic water bottle. Like these Poland Springs bottles are very thick-sided plastic bottles, and they will not crack over time and leak your homemade mixture of paint everywhere. So I would start off with primary colors. If you can afford a set of 12, I would go for the set. If you can't do primaries, plus black, plus white, and mix your own secondaries, or add magenta and turquoise to that. And you're just going to keep adding powder and paint. And there is a great drill bit tool you can add onto your drill and mix the paint together until it is smooth. So that is a great option if you have a very small budget and you would like to bring paint, tempera paint, into your classroom. These are the cups that I dole out paint in. You want to be careful that you get the same size cup as lid. I have bought the wrong size lid for the correct size cups that I wanted. So, and that you have a pack of 100 and a pack of 100, because there are packs of 2,500 and the price changes dramatically. So be careful that you are buying a matching set, because they do not appear on the website together. They are separated and you have to find them. But the item numbers are here, and I will try to put all the item numbers from this year's catalog in the description box below. So I would pour from the Poland Springs water bottle to these cups. If you don't want to deal with liquid tempera, mixing the powder paint to liquid, and your art on a cart, for example, you could buy sets of the Jack Reason tempera paint cakes. They are dry tempera. If you cannot afford in your budget watercolor paints that are pan, semi-moist watercolors that look like these, if you can't afford these, you can give the kids the experience of watercolors, and these last a lot longer than watercolors. So if you're going to skip pan watercolors, I would do these. You could either just buy a simple set and teach kids to mix their own secondaries. These also wipe off very easily. What I learned the hard way is I left these tempera pucks, tempera cakes, in the tray, and they fuse to the tray. What you want to do is lift out the yellow cake and place it in one of these cups and then put it back in the tray. So when you're changing out colors, it's super easy. You just like pluck out this plastic cup, and it's super easy. Sometimes I would take out the black and white if we weren't using black and white, but you could do a whole lesson on mixing tints and shades and mixing secondaries only with this. So, but I have 6 tables, so you'll see that I buy 6 of everything. But if your art on a cart, you might need more like 12 sets and put them between kids' desks. If you can splurge, this is a splurge. There's also another set that's even larger than this set of 9. If you can splurge, you can do the assorted secondary colors. When you're purchasing refills, where did I put it? You want the full-size refills, not the half sizes, because they don't last as long. So just be mindful that there are 2 different size tempera cake refills. With paintbrushes, you don't need that many brushes to have a decent art program. You want, if you're on the modest side, you can do a class set. My largest class is 24 kids, so I need 2 sets because these are 12. That would give me 24. So 24 size 2s, and then if I didn't have a lot in the budget, I would just do 2s and 8s. So I had small and large and skip the size 6. If you have a little bit more in your budget, I would do 2, 4, 6s, and 8s in the round, in the Royal Lang nickel brand brushes. These clear brushes seem to be better than these green ones. I haven't had great luck with them. I just couldn't find any other size 8s to show you, but I find the bristles end up into the metal portion of the brush, and then I have to pull it back out, and try to crimp it into place. Kind of annoying for the price of the brushes. So if you just wanted to do size 2s and size 6s, that would work also. 6s and 8s are super similar. And the 2s are great for teaching outlining, or if you want to slow down a class. Some kids want to go super fast. For those kids that are going super fast, give them smaller brushes. And if you're doing smaller paper to stretch your budget, give them smaller brushes like 1s, 2s, and 4s, for example. These are liquid watercolors. So if you can't get sets of pan watercolors, you are going to take some of these liquid watercolors and put some drops into these cups, or have donated baby food jars with lids. Add water and shake to make the colors that you want for that day. So if you only need blue watercolor for an ocean scene or something like that, only mix up blue. You can take the lid off, let it evaporate, and then you can reuse it over and over again just by adding water back to the cup, so you don't have to throw those away. And that's a perk of the baby food jars because they have lids. If you can splurge, the Versatemp heavy-bodied paint is excellent. Not the washable one. They look very similar, so pay attention to which ones you're adding to your cart. And if you can only buy primaries, great, you can mix your secondaries. If you can splurge, you get the magenta turquoise, black, and white. And those are excellent for a new art teacher if you don't know what to buy. All-purpose school glue. I make glue sponges. We used to go through a lot in the budget with glue sticks and just get sandwich size plastic containers, put your brand new kitchen sponges inside, laying flat. I have a video on the YouTube channel under the same name, Art Teacher Maven, how to make glue sponges. I would make them in the sandwich size container because they can fit small things or big things. They press it to the glue sponge and then they go about their project very quickly, and then you just put the caps on the glue sponges and they last for a long time. So I would use that if my budget was limited and skip glue sticks. If you can splurge on glue sticks, I would get the Avery, the large size purple glue sticks to help kids with low vision problems. If you can splurge on Sharpies, if it's a splurge, you can get all 3 sizes: fine point, ultra fine, and chisel tip. If you have limited budget, I would get chisel tip because the ink lasts a long time because they are larger. And I would just teach kids how to rotate the chisel tip marker with their grip to get a smaller line and then a thicker line, because it does the jobs of both of these. If you can splurge, get all 3. I haven't bought crayons for my current public school job in 9 years. I just keep getting donations of crayons and I haven't had to buy crayons. But you do want to have available, if possible in your budget, skin colored crayons of all kinds for portraits, and just so that kids know that they are represented in the classroom. If you can splurge on oil pastels for blending and mixing and just the experience of oil pastels, these are not necessarily the best oil pastels, but I like them because the paper comes off super easy, the little paper jacket, and you get a longer lifespan with the oil pastel. Other brands of oil pastel, it's super hard to get the paper off, and thus the kids stop using them. Where these, the paper peels off, and they just keep using them until there's barely anything left. And this is a large class set, so to last you. I separate them by warm colors, cool colors. I also put black, white, and yellow separate in case you want to do outlining with black or white, and yellow just gets super dirty. So if you want to put it by itself, just to keep your oil pastels a little bit cleaner. You will have to teach children how to peel off the paper and that it's okay in your classroom to peel the paper. If you can splurge on these quick stick temper paint sticks, these are great for like a Kandinsky circle lesson or an expressive emotions painting. If you read the book The Color Monster or any of the Little Spot of Feelings books, those are excellent for those types of projects. They're very bright and colorful. They dry in 90 seconds. The caps do need to go on. You will need to teach kids how to twist up the paint stick like chapstick, then twist it back down and put the cap on by pushing it into the table. It's not something that they are always great at. And this is a class set of 144 divided by 119. You do have to check the prices because they're not always a deal. So it makes it $1.20 per paint stick. And I think that was better than some of the other packs that I looked at. So you do want to be friendly with your calculator while you are making a budget. Or not making a budget, but creating a budget order. If you can't do Sharpies, you're going to do black crayons for outlining. It just makes elementary artwork pop, and you can do a lot with them. You can teach shading, light, dark. You can also teach wax resist. If you can splurge, you can do additional black oil pastels in the jumbo size. This will only get you through maybe one grade level if you have a traditional number of students. Like I have 2 classes of 24 fifth graders. This would probably only last one project of outlining. So black crayons for a better price will get you a lot more outlining, and oil pastels can be smudgy and that can frustrate kids. So if you had to choose between black oil pastels or black crayons, I would do black crayons and I would increase the amount of black crayons. These are also harder to peel the paper off, and thus kids don't want to use them because they don't want the oil pastel under their nail. But if you can't do Sharpie, just do black crayons. If you can splurge on watercolors, just get the refills in the primary colors, plus magenta, turquoise, and black if you can. And then just pass out the colors that the students need that day, or let them go shopping for their own colors. And then you don't have messy trays because the colors stay clean, and you can teach them how to keep the colors apart, and there won't be big messy trays for you to clean up. So if we kept everything in the cart, all these items that we have now, and placed this order, let's see what our total would be. And this is fairly modest. $1,300. So this is over budget for me. So I would be removing things. So some notes. You won't see markers in my cart. They just dry out super fast. We don't get a lot of projects from them. The markers dry out and the artwork fades. So I just skip markers. Yarn is something that gets donated, so I don't ever buy yarn. I've never bought yarn. It's something that's donated to me all the time. Crayons are not in my cart because they get donated all the time. Colored pencils are donated all the time. You can go to local stores in your area and, for example, get wallpaper books donated to you. If you want to make colored paper, have the kids make Eric Carle painted paper and then just cut it into smaller pieces and have it, like, do it as an opening project, and then have it be shared amongst all the kids all school year. Like, make secondary colors and texturize the paper and then just chop it down, and you'll have it for anything you might need to do mosaics or collages or whatever it might be. So this is the most modest budget I could come up with, and you can delete things out of here and make it even tighter if you have to. I'm going to post this and copy and paste the item numbers because that does make the process of picking things go a little bit faster. And I hope this helps new art teachers out there, or art teachers that are just looking to save on their budget. Happy shopping!